Hi everybody, welcome back to Cotto Verde. My name's Annette and today we've got another project on our hands. When I say project, it's going to involve quite a bit of ground clearance and digging because I'm planting a climbing rose up this old archway. This archway was here when we bought the house and there was a sort of very overgrown path leading down to it. The path is even more overgrown now and we have plans for it, but I really want to get the rose in because I bought the rose and I want to get it planted so we can start training it up this archway and it's going to look absolutely beautiful in the summer. Now this side of the archway is south facing, obviously the other side is north facing. So I'm going to plant it to the side of this archway here and then hopefully we'll be able to get roses on both sides. There's no guarantee we're going to get a load of roses on the other side. I'll just have to see how it flowers, but this side should be absolutely stunning. This is our weeping cherry tree here and we've got 2 Italian cypresses, and then if I spin round, up here at the end is where we've got our massive archway that leads into the garden, and then we need to do the bed on this wall we need to sort out, and there'll be another bed this side, so we will be able to walk through the arch eventually, but the archway is just kind of a standalone thing. I've got a little hedgehog house here. We don't have any hedgehogs yet unfortunately, but one day maybe we will. So yeah, this is where the archway is. Now this patch here of dandelions and weeds and water irrigation and stuff like that, this big mound here, we need to sort out sort of a square metre by a square metre so that we can get the rose planted in this spot here. So we're going to get cracking on this, get some of the digging out. You can see there's a big dead tree here that needs to come out one day too. We'll have to get a big saw to it. So we're going to start digging. We'll plant the rose and I'll tell you all about the rose that I've chosen for this spot. And then over in this bed here, just on the corner, I've got 2 peonies that I want to put in today and some more bulbs, and I'll talk you through that too. Okay, so what I've done is I've measured out a metre squared here. So this is a metre squared. And then I've found the centre, which is exactly where the trunk of this weeping cherry is. And it's the centre of the big arch that we've got up here. There you can see the big arch. That's going to have roses up it. So that's the centre. Then I've measured from this stick to this bed, that's 136 centimetres, and so I've measured from this to here 136 centimetres, so we need to clear the weeds out of this area so that it matches, and we've got the edge of this bed, which we've never really known where it's going to be, but now that we've dug this one out, we know exactly where this one's going to be. And because there's kind of a slope here, I'm sort of thinking that maybe we could put some nice Yorkstone paving there and make a step. Probably only needs 1 step, or we could just carry on having a slope. I haven't quite decided, but now that we've got the edge of this bed, we'll be able to finish weeding all this out and create a proper bed, and then create my winding pathway through the woodland area, which is super exciting. So now that we've cleared a metre squared around the base of this pillar of the arch, we're going to plant the rose, and I'm super excited about this rose. It's got a gorgeous name. It's called Rosa Aloha. I love it for two reasons. First of all, it's a beautiful memory from a holiday that Richard and I had in Hawaii, which was a holiday of a lifetime for us and completely wonderful and magical. But also it's a gorgeous climbing rose. It's going to climb to about just under 4 meters, so about 12 foot tall. So the blooms on this rose are deeply double cupped, and they're kind of in a rosy corally shade. It's got glossy green, deep green foliage. The flowers apparently have loads and loads of petals, and it's got a strong fruity fragrance. It's a really good, strong climber and quite disease resistant. Just in case you don't know, when planting roses, it's really important, if you're planting them, climbing roses, next to a pillar or a wall in particular, not to plant them too close to that structure because they'll get less rain there. So it's better to plant them slightly away, lean them in towards the arch. And also when planting a rose, any rose, it's really important that this join here, where the rose joins the rootstock, is planted below soil level. Obviously, if you're going to mulch afterwards, then you can leave space for that, and we will be mulching afterwards with the farmyard manure, the well-rotted farmyard manure. And so I'm going to dig a big hole and plant my rose. I had to pass the digging over to Richard because there was obviously a wall here at some point, and I'm trying to plant a rose where the foundations of the wall are, and I just need his help trying to get those foundations out. Rich has just spent quite a while trying to get that bit of concrete foundation out, which must be where the wall was, presumably here in the past. And we just can't get it out ourselves. We'd need to hire a jackhammer or something. It's not worth it. So I'm just going to plant the rose to the side of the foundation, dig a really nice deep hole, make sure there's lots of rich soil down there, maybe add some compost. Definitely I'll be adding some plant food, and the rose will be fine. There's loads of ground around it for it to spread its roots out, and it can probably get underneath that foundation that we just can't break up. Well, we've just had a little lunch break and we've come back out and it's clouded over, which is a bit of a shame because it was a lovely sunny morning. What I'm going to do now is just go through the other plants that we're planting today. So I've got two gorgeous peonies. So the first peony I'm planting, I'm so excited about. It's called Angel Cheeks. It's got these gorgeous double bomb-shaped flowers, and I'm planting that one next to the Aloha rose that I've just planted. So hopefully what's going to happen is we'll have the peony in bloom, and then that will move on to the rose. The colour will move on to the rose. So I'll just sort of have a continuation over there. So in this bed behind me here, we've got a very young cercis, a red bud. This one's called Carolina Sweetheart, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I'm so happy to have this beautiful plant. It has these variegated leaves with like a pink tinge to it, and so next to it I'm planting a gorgeous peony called Kansas. Kansas is super fragrant. It's got these gorgeous hot pink fuchsia coloured flowers. It's a very early season peony, so it's hopefully going to bloom either at the same time or just after the red bud blooms. And it's got one of the biggest flowers apparently on peonies, so I'm very excited to have that. I think it's going to be a lovely splash of colour down here. I don't know whether it's going to bloom this year. The bare roots that I got, all the peony bare roots I got, look really good. They look strong and robust and healthy, and they've got loads of eyes, so I'm very happy with them. And I'm hoping if I get it planted in early February, which it is now, that maybe we'll get 1 or 2 flowers this year. So in the same area underneath this redbud tree, I'm also going to be planting there something that arrived in a plant haul that I filmed earlier, which is a veronica called Veronica spicata erica. And this one is really low growing, so it grows 30 by 30 centimetres, and it forms these mats of dense foliage, and then it has these gorgeous pink scum up spires, and it's going to flower hopefully from sort of the end of June right through August. In this bed behind me with the aloe rose and peony, I'm also going to pop some gorgeous little yellow primroses. They have been sitting waiting to be planted for a while now, and I just think it's going to be a lovely pop of spring colour. The other thing I'm going to plant is some more of the Erisemum bicolour purple with the wallflower, so I'm going to pop that in there too, because I need something to use as ground cover, and I think they'll just bush up really nicely. And these wallflowers flower for such a long period of time. I think it's going to be a really nice splash of colour, and they're going to complement the other things in this bed as well. I do actually have some bulbs that I want to get in the ground today. So one of the first things I'm planting are some gladiolus nanus called Haley, and these are gorgeous whitey creamy ivory dwarf gladioli that have like a red stripe or an orangey stripe in them, and I think they're going to be so pretty, and they'll really complement the other colours that I've got in this area. So I'm going to be popping a few of those bulbs in now, and they should flower sort of from the end of June onwards, hopefully. They're not going to grow very tall, maybe between 50 and 70 centimetres, and they're not completely hardy, so they do need to be in a well protected area. They also need really good draining soil, and our soil is very heavy clay, so I'm not 100% sure that they're going to come back again next year, but I think it's worth a try, and at least for this year I think they're going to look really pretty. I've also got some more glads that I'm going to be planting, and these ones are called Gladiolus byzanitus italius or something like that. They're Italian glads or Italian sword lilies, and these ones have up to 20 blooms on the stem, and they're kind of pinky mauvey coloured, but they'll grow to the same height, so they're dwarf as well. They're going to grow to about 50 to 70 centimetres, and they're like very similar conditions, well draining soil, lots of sun, might not come back again next year. They're not fully hardy in our area, so I'm going to see how those do, but again I think that's going to be a lovely pop of colour, and I'm going to pop a few of those in the ground around here. Well, we've still got some clearing up to do, but this is where I've planted the rose here. Then we've got a few primroses here. They'll be over by the time the peony leaves out. So this is the peony angel cheeks. And then I've got some more primroses on the corner here, and then I've got the wallflower, the bicolor purple behind it. So then I dotted the gladiolus byzanitus, or the Italian glads. I put on the really shallow bit there where we're not going to be able to plant very much that's deep rooted because of the foundations, and I've dotted some of the creamy white gladiolus either side of the rose. So this is south facing on this side, and I think that's going to be the perfect place for the glads. So looking from the other direction, this is the archway here, this is the other bit of bed we dug. I planted some more wallflowers here with the Byzantine Italian purple gladiolus. This is the peony Kansas in this spot here. It's going to be a lovely bright pink spot. And then at the front here I planted some of the Haley gladiolus, so the creamy one. This is the Veronica spicata erica, so it'll have some lovely little tiny pink spires. They won't grow very tall. This is where I've got some obedient plant. This is the redbud tree, Carolina Sweetheart, and underneath I've got some lovely pink gypsophilia and some Physostegia, so lovely white spires, And then over here I planted some more of, in this spot, I planted another drift of the gladiolus Haley. So I've still got lots of cleanup to do. You can see I'm not in a massive rush to do it. I think it's good for the wildlife to not cut back all my perennials. But where we've weeded and planted, we will mulch today. So we've added a bit of compost here because we had to take quite a lot out to get rid of the weeds and the grass. We added compost in this bed. Richard's mulched that already. So we're just going to mulch here, mulch around the peony, and as I said, the areas where we've weeded. So we've just about finished for today. We're just going to finish the mulching and that's it. I really hope you've enjoyed this video today and found it interesting to find out what we're planting. Doesn't this bed look really smart now that I've neatened up the edge? We do need to move the irrigation pipe over a little bit, but we'll sort all those out later. But just for today, we're going to mulch. I really hope you've enjoyed this video. If you have, then please do give it a like. It really does help me. And thank you so much for watching. I'll see you all next time.